Welcome to WagerTalk TV. Kelly Stewart here, joined by CT Betts. Hustle Pod is in about an hour, but I'm not going to be on it. Errol Epstein is filling in for me today. Drew, CT, Adam Trigger, and of course, the prop queen. CT just snuck back into the Westgate Super Contest top 5. So looks like you had another good NFL weekend. How was your weekend overall?
Yeah, the NFL was really good, Kel. College was mediocre, 3-3 on Saturday. But Kel, I had one of those really bad ones. I had Pittsburgh plus 1.5, and that was one of my losses. And not sure if you caught the end of that. Kid slid for the first down. Refs overturned it. They had to punt the ball back to Wake, and the third string quarterback, Santino something, throws a miraculous touchdown pass, and I lose that one. So it was looking like a 4-2 day, turns into a 3-3 day. NFL was great, and Trig and I had a great day in the contest. So overall,
Yeah, 6-1 for me this last weekend. So cruising along nicely in the VSiN contest with Matt Humans. Finally, even in the Wise Guy contest that I have to send my picks in on Monday for Mark Lawrence. You know, it's tough to get through those deep waters when you just cannot seem to be on the right side of those losses like Pitt. I had 2 pick sixes to just dagger me on a couple of games. And it's been nice not to have one for a couple of weeks now. We'll see if we can't break down some more of these games here later on. I text you and I said, hey, CT, like, what are we going to do? College basketball is right around the corner. And I thought you were going to say, oh, yeah, I've got all these futures bets. And you said, no, Cal, I'm invested in college football and, of course, Survivor. So how many Survivors do you have left? And then let's break down our entry.
yeah, Survivor, I have 2 left with Trig, 1 with you, and 1 with Uncle Benny. So 4 total left. And you and I have been on a nice little run together. We've done well. We haven't really fought. We've kind of been on the same page. And that's not really like us. We're kind of like brother and sister, always fighting, but we're finding a way to get through every single week. And this week, Kel, I have a few written down, and God, I just hate every option we have somehow, and they're all big favorites.
Of course they are. And I've got our spreadsheet pulled up here. I lied. No, I don't. Let me pull it up right now. It's been kind of weird because you and I have been on the exact same path as John Murray and I, which is really interesting because, we could have went out with the Chiefs, which would have just been absolutely and utterly disgusting. We could have went out with a couple of other teams, possibly not really, but, the Commanders week 1 was not great.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like you're getting lucky. Last week, I felt like Seattle should have won by, I don't know, 20. Should have been like 31-13. And they just kept finding ways to do dumb things. And I thought for sure they were going to screw up and cost us not only the cover for me, but us, the Survivor entry. Luckily for us, I know you were at that Bills-Pats game. And, the Bucks, another one. Rams lose to the Steelers, which the Rams -3 was a really sharp side. 49ers lose. Raiders lose. Saints lost Thursday night. Commies, Packers. Like, some of these teams, I understand why people are trying to zig when others zag. But should we be concerned that we're probably the 3 teams that we're going to talk about? We should probably be concerned that they're going to be the most 3 popular picks again this week. And as you saw, like, what was it? 5 out of the top 7 lost outright.
A lot of people always say, we want to stay away from the number 1 choice. Well, I'm glad we didn't stay away from the number 1 choice last week. And Kel, if you remember, I don't want to talk about it again, but here it comes. Last Thursday, when you and I did this show, I said to you, Trig's making us take the Saints in one of our entries, and I absolutely hate it. And his reasoning was because, everybody's going to be on Seattle. Me and him had this huge argument about why you sometimes don't have to zig when everybody else is zagging. And look what happened on Thursday night. That was a terrible performance by the Saints, and they were somehow still in it at the end there. So we went out with one entry from that.
They actually were in it there at the end, and I was kind of shocked. I was like, all right, Trig's going to make me eat my words here, and he's going to advance. Obviously, I was never cheering against you guys, and we had no idea how many other people, because it is a Thursday, those numbers don't come out till Sunday, how many people had the Saints. Obviously, it wasn't a significant amount. It was 20-some. I was just looking at it. But last week, I have 4 left in Circa. I have a big money league one that I'm in. with the guys that I'm friends with from Michigan. And then I have two in a smaller league, and we went Seahawks across the board. I kind of don't know if I want to do that this week with the Chargers, right? John Murray kind of put the seed in my head on Monday. Do we really trust Brandon Staley here? This is really tough. Then, later on in the week, I start reading things. And sometimes that's not good for me. I always say I put in my bets and then I like to see what other people have to say. Chargers have been terrible as a favorite. 0-3-1 against the spread. Does that mean that they're going to lose the game outright? No, of course not. But look, they beat Aiden O'Connell and the Raiders. The Bears, man, Tyson Badgett, what are they? Their secondary's been playing a little bit better. But against who? The Commanders? Chargers defense, not anything special. I really don't know what to do because we know that it's not like the Chargers have home field advantage. It's going to be half Chicago fans there. And again, Justin Herbert has clearly been missing Mike Williams, and that concerns me. So let's talk through this and see kind of, I guess, what our other options are and what we really ultimately are going to decide here.
Well, I have three teams written down here, and the three are the Chargers, the Ravens, and the Lions, right? And the Chargers, Cal, you weren't my best friend. No one else will believe me, but the Chargers have literally cost me $100,000 in the past year on games that I have bet on. $100,000. Then that's not inflated at all. So when I look at them, I want to scream. Brandon Staley
Oh,
makes
you're
me
right,
want to
because
scream.
the playoff
Back to the
game that I
Jaguars
went to
game.
bed. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Games this year. Ravens, I've kind of crossed off a little bit, Kel. I'm going to agree with you. The road thing, the road rule that you have here, I kind of agree with in this game. Do I think the Ravens will pull it out? Yes, probably. But I think the Cards are kind of sneaky at home, and I don't know if it will matter. There's rumblings that Kyler might play. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for this Cardinals team. I can't really figure them out. They're like you and I talked about. They're in half or three quarters of a lot of the games, and then they end up getting blown out. And the last one, Vegas at Lions. Lions, they're if we take them, the Bears just killed Vegas. If we take the Lions, it's Monday Night Football. Then we blow our theory and our game plan of having two options on Thanksgiving. So I'm at a crossroads here. I kind of need some partner help of which direction we're going.
Well, instead of doing that, I'm just going to give you one more team to throw in the mix. So John
Okay.
Murray and I obviously do a show on Wednesday nights, and he said, "Hey, a very, very like the basically the group he respects the most bet the Cowboys this week." And I said, "Okay." And he goes, "So we talked about burning the Lions because we would use the Cowboys. Lions will be roughly 7.5, 8-point favorite as it stands today over the Packers on Thanksgiving. The Cowboys will be about a 9.5, 10-point favorite over the Giants as it stands today. Cowboys off a bye, should be healthier. Rams haven't really been all of that impressive, especially after last week, but that is a really solid Steelers defense. Dallas, they did get torched by the Cardinals and 49ers, which are the other two teams in the AFC West, so that is a concern as well. So I have kind of the exact same sentiment as you. Here we have Brandon Staley in a primetime game. I don't really want to take the Ravens on the road. I would love to save the Ravens for later, but here's the problem, Chris. So if we save the Ravens for potentially when do I have them? I have them potentially a couple weeks after Thanksgiving. I have them circled, and I have them circled for week 18. Again, what are we saving for week 18? What if they're already in the playoffs and they have nothing to play for? Why did we save a really solid team? We have to use 20 teams in this Survivor. And that is what makes it kind of different. So there's 6 teams I don't want to touch, right? Like I just don't want anything to do with. There are 6 teams that maybe you could talk me into. Well, I should say that there's 12 teams that maybe you could talk me into. And it's kind of an ever-changing list, if you will. I still don't want to back the Bears. I still don't want to back the Raiders. Falcons, not so much. Jags are kind of in that mix. I have a couple of spots where I think we can use them. Who are the Bengals? Who are the Browns? How healthy is Joe Burrow? No Deshaun Watson. All of a sudden, PJ Walker is really good. The Steelers are in that mix. They've had some really nice wins. The Buccaneers. There's just a lot of those like middle of the road teams. And I think the Chargers are at the top of that list.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on the Chargers, right? I thought the Chargers were going to be very good this year, and it turned out to be wrong so far. And Justin Herbert, I don't know. I mean, what a great quarterback is Brandon Staley, kind of on the Mac Jones train of what the kind of the Patriots have done to him. I can't figure it out. I mean, my gut tells me, Kel, that the Chargers will be able to take care of the business and get the win on Sunday Night Football against the rookie Tyson. I don't know how you pronounce his last name. Again,
Badgett, I think.
Badgett, Bagan.
I
Yeah,
heard somebody
kid looked
call him
pretty
Tyson
good last
Sargent earlier because it is spelled similar to Sargent. And I was like, pretty sure it starts with a B, but what do I know?
Yeah, I'm with you. I was at the Patriots game last week, so I didn't see much of the 1 o'clock games. But from the highlights, he looked pretty good. He's really going to come out and have two great games in a row here, traveling on the road in the big stage here on Sunday Night Lights when the whole world is watching. I don't think so. But Kel, I'm open to your suggestion that John gave you
CT.
on Dallas.
This is what I needed you to come on the show and say. Cal, don't be a pussy. We are taking the Chargers. Do not overthink this. If they lose to the Bears, so be it. Like, that's what I thought I was going to get from you. And now I am in even more of a glass case of emotion because now I have to text Errol and Pam after this. And now I have to text my buddy Steven that I'm still live with. And I'm just like, somebody get me out of this hell that is this Chargers team. But here's the caveat. So as I said, we have to use 20 teams. If we don't use the Chargers here, the only other option that I have them slated for, doesn't mean it's the only time we can use them, but the only other one that I would probably feel comfortable using them would be week 14. They should be touchdown favorites to the Broncos at home. Do we
Right, and
think
that's
by
the
then they'll
other
be
one I had
healthier?
too.
Right. Will Mike Williams be back by then, or is he out for the rest of the year? I got to look that up.
I think Williams is done for the year.
Okay, so if he's done for the year, then how do the Chargers get any semblance of an offense clicking here that can blow teams out, right? Like, I need a less stressful. The Rams game was stressful until the second half. The Seahawks game was stressful till the fourth quarter. Like, I need a game like that Thursday night Niners game where I just get to sit back and I'm like, well, that was easy. Like, Survivor's going to take years off my life at this point. And if it
I, I'm just cracking up because like I wanted to come on this show and say that to you, but then when I like look at the Chargers name and think of Brandon Staley, I want to crank his head open, and I get so aggravated that I don't know what to do, Kel, because this team has just absolutely owned me, and it drives me nuts. Thursday, we're both going away tomorrow. We're both going to have a couple drinks tomorrow, Saturday morning. A little time to lock in here. We're going to be able to figure it out, and I have full confidence that we're going to be able to bang a winner home and get on to next week.
Yeah,
Any better?
no. Listen, let's put it this way. So obviously, I don't take this into account of my handicap, but there are some people that I follow that tweet out BetMGM ticket counts, DraftKings ticket counts, FanDuel ticket counts. I will say this: the most lopsided game this week that is outside of the Eagles Commanders, because obviously everybody's going to want to bet the Eagles, is the Lions. So that kind of concerns me, right? So if 80+% of the tickets are on the Lions, now the public just got the bricks beat off them last week, right? Like they just got
Right.
completely
Finally.
obliterated. Yeah, right. But does that mean I'm going to look? I want to see kind of what's going on here with some of these because I wouldn't be surprised. And now, of course, each book is going to have different percentages and they're each going to have, depending on the region. But right now, 84% of the tickets are on Eagles, 84% on Lions, 83 on Chiefs, 80% on Texans, 80% on Ravens, 80% on Vikings. So that kind of right there tells me that I wouldn't be surprised maybe if some other people aren't getting nervous about Brandon Staley and trying to get cute and take the Lions. Do I think the Lions are going to lose to the Raiders on Monday Night Football? I don't. But also kind of going back to, hey, it is nice to have two teams going into Thanksgiving. Crazier things have happened. What if Jared Goff gets hurt? Now we can use the Cowboys. What if Dak Prescott gets hurt? Now we can use the Lions. Versus, nope, we are stuck. Very great tweet. And that was 2 months. That was a month ago. A month ago, I was asking this question. And you know what? The good news is, CT, I texted this to my buddy Steven earlier. I said, the good news is we take the Chargers and they lose on Sunday Night Football to the Bears. We don't have to talk about Brandon Staley anymore because he's going to be gone. That's going to be
Wow,
like our
I like
consolation
that.
prize.
That's a good way to put it, and that would be okay with me, considering I just had them recently on Monday Night Football, the Cowboys, and that game. Well, obviously, as you know, did not go very well, and Herbert did not look himself. So that I would like nothing more than to not talk about the Chargers anymore. I'm looking at it a little more, Kel. I think we're going to have to take the Chargers as much as I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to not burn the Cowboys. Cowboys 4-5 straight up after a bye. Mike
Yeah.
McCarthy, also bonehead coach. I think there's a couple other spots to utilize him. Yeah, Chris, guess we got to, like I tell John Murray, sack up. It's time to sack up. We're going to have to take the Chargers. That being said, I need a best bet from you because you got to get out of here. You got to go on the hustle. I still have to film my parlay video for Superbook. It's crazy. This is why I don't take Fridays off because now my Wednesdays and Thursdays are absolute and utter hell.
Oh, Cal, I'm going to Texas tomorrow, heading down to Waco for homecoming, Iowa State at Baylor. I haven't given out a Baylor play since I had that great info on Blake Shapen a few weeks ago versus Central Florida. I called you. I said, you got to get on Baylor right now, plus 12.5. That game's going to close closer to 7, which it did. Did we get a miracle comeback and win? Yes, we did. Hell, Blake Shapen's a game changer, and we saw that a few weeks ago in the comeback win. Rocco Beck, the trigger man for Iowa State, is not a game changer at the position yet. He has one game with over 240 passing yards, and then 4 games completing under 61% of his passes. He's got a long way to get to Brock Purdy status when he was there a few years ago. Well, I like Baylor this weekend, and a quote unquote sharp guy got on Iowa State today, helped that line get up to 3. I went and grabbed that 3 points right there with Baylor. I like the Bears to get it done this weekend. Dave Aranda said they're going to get back to running the ball. Blake Shapen's their leader. It's shown the last few games here, Cal. I like Baylor to win this game here. Baylor plus 3 for my best bet of the show.
Yeah, I have to agree. Not only is it homecoming, Baylor had a nice win over the Bearcats, but hey, that's what everybody does when they go to Cincinnati.
Sure.
So good stuff from you. Great number with the 3. I have nothing but agreement. We will talk on Saturday about Survivor. That's the good news. We have till Saturday, I think at like 3 o'clock. But let's not get too carried away at brunch and or tailgating that we forget. Good news, we have a text service. That being said, he is CT Bets at CTBet16. I am Kelly Stewart. Make sure you guys check out the full version of the Hustle podcast every single Thursday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, live on the WagerTalk YouTube channel.